House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is rolling out his agenda for the House GOP as the party looks to take over control of Congress this November. The plan, dubbed the Commitment to America, marks McCarthy's most concrete attempt yet to outline a policy agenda to persuade voters ahead of the election. Principal Deputy White House Communications Director Kate Berner joining me now live for more on this. Thank you so much for being with us, Kate. So, look, McCarthy's unveiling this plan today in Pittsburgh alongside a few dozen colleagues, including some far-right firebrands like Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, but also New York moderate Representative John Katko, who is retiring after voting to impeach former President Donald Trump. Where does the White House see this plan on the political spectrum? Would it appeal to moderate or independent voters?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Alexis. As you said, Leader McCarthy in Pittsburgh today outlined his and House Republicans' ultra-MAGA agenda for the country. It criminalizes doctors and nurses who perform abortions, whether that's for miscarriage care or to save the health of the mother. They've said their first priority is repealing the Inflation Reduction Act, increasing seniors' prescription drug prices, increasing health care premiums for millions of Americans across the country. And they're putting Social Security and Medicare on the chopping block, threatening to privatize Social Security, slashing benefits. In fact, by the last check I saw before coming out here, Leader McCarthy and the Republican members of Congress with him today didn't even mention Social Security or Medicare in their discussion today. So we think this is an extreme ultra-MAGA agenda that's out of touch with where Americans all across the country are. It's a very different agenda from the one the president has put forward to lower costs, create jobs, and build an economy that works for working families around the country.
So, Kate, does the White House agree with any part of the GOP plan as it stands?
So I think there's a huge difference in the approach of the president and congressional Democrats and congressional Republicans. As the president has said, we've been able to work with Republicans in Congress in a few places, like the bipartisan infrastructure law, the CHIPS and Science Act. And that's important. The president promised that he was going to work with Republicans in Congress where he could, but the vision that we're seeing put forward today by Leader McCarthy is extreme. It's ultra-MAGA, and it's out of touch with what Americans around the country are looking for, and it's just very, very different from the vision that the president has put forward, and we believe that a majority of Americans around the country agree with.
So this GOP plan also highlights economic goals. You know that some economists are saying the U.S. may be headed for recession. Does the White House disagree with that assessment? And is the economy continuing to be an Achilles heel for Democrats as we move closer to the midterms?
So no, I don't think the economy is an Achilles heel for the president, for congressional Democrats. I'm here on the North Lawn. I'm not going to get into politics too much, but the president has a strong economic record. We've created nearly 10 million jobs. Unemployment claims are at near historic lows. Businesses are investing in America. The president was at a groundbreaking at Intel. Yesterday here at the White House, we had mayors and local elected officials from North Carolina, where Wolfspeed, a company, is expanding their manufacturing in the Tar Heel state. Small business starts, more people are starting small businesses than at any point in history, and prices are decreasing for families across the country. We've had 14 straight weeks this summer of gas prices declining. We're going to build on that progress with the Inflation Reduction Act. We're going to give people more breathing room in their health care premiums, their energy costs, their prescription drugs. You're going to hear the president later today and all month talking about his economic record, all the work we've done and accomplished, and the more work we have to do to continue growing an economy that builds the economy from the bottom up and middle out.
You talk about falling gas prices. Despite that, inflation still near a 40-year high. Fed Chair Powell said recently there's no painless way to bring down inflation. What more can the administration do in terms of bringing down energy costs, especially now as the country heads into the winter? And is there anything at all the administration can do to help folks when it comes to high food costs?
Yeah, so it's a good question. As I said, gas prices have fallen this summer for 14 straight weeks. That's important breathing room for families across the country. The administration is making clean energy more affordable, more available around the country. The president was at the Detroit Auto Show talking about electric vehicles, which are booming around the country, the charging stations that we're building across the country thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law. There's funding to help people with weatherization to make their homes hold heat and air, lowering their energy bills. And of course, the Inflation Reduction Act is going to help lower families' energy bills by about $500 a year as well. So these are all important progress in reducing families' energy costs, but we're going to keep going. We're going to keep pushing. The Fed is independent. They'll continue to take whatever action that they determine to take, but we're going to continue to implement these important bills that are giving families more breathing room, lowering costs across the board.
All right, Kate Berner, live outside the White House. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.